Good afternoon, students of class 10. Today we are going to read the poem Dust of Snow. My dear students, reading poem is quite difficult in comparison with reading prose. In prose, you have the surface meaning which you read and understand, but in poem, profound meaning is very much essential to know, and by one word of the poem, meaning of the poem is changed. So reading poem is difficult but not impossible to understand. You can understand, you are just budding, you are the students of class 10 only, so you will understand it. But for understanding, you will have to be quite you will have to just pay attention to your poem and its use of the words, and you will have to keep your poetic heart and mind. Then you will be understanding it. Before starting it, I want to tell you this poem, Dust of Snow, has been written by Robert Frost, who was an American poet. Robert Frost was very popular in the sense that whatever he wrote for the society to better the society. See how important it is, this poet's poem. You have read in class 9, in 10 you are reading, and you will be reading in class 12 too. I remember when I was in college, I was also a student like you all, and my teacher used to tell me one stanza of his poem. I want to repeat it. This poem, this stanza is from the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Very important stanza it is, that's why I want to tell you. The wood is lovely, dark and deep, but I have promised to keep, and miles I have to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. See, these lines are very simple, but its meaning is very, very profound. Like that also in Road Not Taken. In class 12th, we will be reading Mending Wall. There also you will be finding that such difficult lines and having two meanings, surface meaning and profound meaning. Here also surface meaning and profound meaning. Road Not Taken also had surface meaning and profound meaning. Poetess that from here, ages and ages hence, I will be telling that there diverse two roads before me, and I took the less traveled by, and that brought the differences. See, this was the summary of that last four lines of that poem. The same poet we are going to read in Dust of Snow. It is said that he was the poet of nature, but my dear students, you must be knowing that whatever you have read just class 9 poem, class 10, you will find that in his poem he always used human being, and that is why other critics told that he was the poet of nature, but he himself did not accept it. He told, no, my poem is not the poem of nature, because I always put the human being in my poem. By the way, that is the matter of research and extensive reading 2, you will have to read more than you will be finding. Today I am going to start this poem, Dust of Snow. Here also in this poem, on some points you will find that poet has not given the clarity. You will have to judge what was the condition. In 8 lines poems, I recite very simple, and before you all. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. You see, in 8 lines, there is only one full stop. The poet has written all 8 lines of the poems in one sentence using subordinate clause and coordinate clause. Clause I will be teaching you when grammar chapter will come to us in detail. So using those 2 clauses, he has made that poem of 8 lines. Very beautifully he has written. I found in some books it is written that, you see, the way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from the hemlock tree. See, the poet is not telling that he was standing under the hemlock tree. Poet is not telling that he was sitting under the tree. Poet is not telling that he was just walking by the tree. So you will have to gaze. But one thing is very much clear, that the poet was under the tree. And that moment, the dust of snow come on him. Here dust of snow means powdery substance of snow. And that came on him. And the reason was what? Reason was that a crow either sat on the branch of that very tree, or flew away from the branch of that very tree, or jumped from one branch to another, and by doing these things, the branches of the tree shook, and the dust came on the poet's body or head or whatever you say. But here there is a question. Nature is what? Time is what? It's extremely cold. Autumn season it is. Secondly, hemlock tree. Hemlock is not a tree. Hemlock is found from a plant. It is very poisonous. So poet means here a poisonous tree. That tree was full of poison, and under that he was standing. If a man is just near the poison, what will be? He is just playing with danger or not? So that was there. Means situation was not favorable to him. He was taking the risk. He was just under the tree, and that time only the dust of snow came on him. And the moment it came, his mood changed. He was lost. Before that, he was lost in his own thought. He did not care that he was standing just under the hemlock tree. At that time, the crow shook the branches of the tree, and dust came on him, and it changed his mood. Then what happened? Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. You see, in second stanza, he is writing that the dust of snow came on me, and that brought the change in my mind. That brought change in my mood. Change mood means what? Your mind. He was just before it, he was lost in his own thought, and that thought was not favorable to him. And this time he is what would say, he is doing his own work. New thought. He got his new thought just after being disturbed by the crow. It's very simple to understand. And mood changed. His mood changed, and then he was not able to do the thing which he was doing before. So poet wants to tell here that the crow changed my mood. The poet was under the poison tree, very near to poison. You know very well poison takes the life of a man. But he was just under the tree. He was lost in his thought. He did not care that he was under the poison tree. And the crow shook the dust of his snow, powdery substance of his snow, and that brought change in his mind. Now he tells in the last two lines, and saved some part of a day I had rued. And due to this happening, some part of his day was saved. Here, some part of day doesn't mean one day. The full life also you can take. The rest of the life, rest of the day which he had, that was saved by that falling of the snow on him. See, as we all know that crow is not considered good omen. Crow is not considered the good bird, but good word for keeping in the house or for a good thing. But that crow saved the poet. Secondly, you see, it is autumn season. Okay? So autumn season is also not favorable season where you can enjoy. It's very cold. So everything was against him. Poison tree, autumn, and that time he was saved. He was thinking something that was not good for him, or whatever is there, it's not clear. He was lost in his own thought, whether he was in tension or depression, whatever is there, it is not clear. The poet has not written it clearly. It depends on the readers to think what it was. But one thing is very much clear, that the poet was not in good condition. At that time only, the crow shook the tree and dust of snow came on him, on his body or something, and his mood changed. It shows what? The poet wants to prove what? Poet wants to prove that the crow, which is considered bad, had saved his some day or some time of the day, whatever you say. And so the crow is favorable to him at these instances. Okay? Otherwise, crow is not considered good. You will not find in the poem like singing words, nightingale, cuckoo, okay? Mentioning about the choir for the good feeling, pleasant feeling. But here poet wanted to prove just opposite. That don't think that crow is always bad. Crow is also good, and it can do something good for us too. Isn't it? So it is. Now, structure of the poem. Structure of the poem, you say, in the first stanza, the rhyming scheme is A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. For the second, if you will be asked, then C, D, C, D. It is rhyming words: crow, snow, me, tree. Next stanza: hurt, part, mood, rude. Okay, so these are rhyming words and rhyming scheme. Now see, figurative speech. Here, figurative speech, you will be finding figurative speech. What is that? You will have to find out here. Alliteration. Alliteration is the expression through which we show that the repetition of sound that comes in one line of the poem 2 or more than 2 times. See here, no? And saved some part, saved some, repetition sound of saw, saved some, okay? So this is the figurative speech here. Alliteration. In this way, now objective of the poem. Why? What did the poet want to say through this poem? What's his objective. Objective is that in the nature everything which we find that is favorable to the man. Don't think that only singing words are good for us. Even crow is also good for us. You see, he proved that in the autumn season when he was under the poison tree, okay, and that time he was saved by the crow, by shaking the branches of the tree, and that dust of snow came on him and his mood changed. Now, tree poet Emerson, do you think, but some students tell that, sir, really he was sitting or standing just below the tree? No, my dear. The poet doesn't go the place about which he writes. Generally, sitting in a room, he writes that. He just fly in the imagination, in the world of imagination. So poet imagined that he was there. That was the style of writing the poem. In some poem you will find in second person, in third person, and now at that very time the trend was in first person. So don't confuse yourself that the poet was standing just below the sumac tree. Hemlock tree. Hemlock tree. Hemlock tree is not existing. Hemlock plant is plant. From plant it is found. It is very poisonous thing. So poet has imagined that there was a poisonous tree. So completed his imagination. And he put himself in the imagination just below that very tree. And all this happened. And he wanted to, only one purpose was his, to prove that even crow is good for man. That's it. So we must not always hate crow. We must not always think that crow is always bad for us. Sometimes crow is good for us as well. Now see, some questions I want to discuss. What is dust of snow? Quite clear? Powdery substance of snow is called dust of snow. Okay. What does the poet say has changed his mood? How has the poet's mood changed? What does the poet say has changed the mood? The falling of the dust of snow changed his mood. And that falling happened due to the shaking of the branches by the crow. By the crow. Either crow sat on the branch or flew away from there or jumped from one branch to another. And then due to that, the branch shook and the dust fell on him, his body, and that brought all the change. How has the poet mood changed? Before that, he was lost in his thought. He was in depression. Okay, he was not in good condition. He was sad because he was under poison tree. And when dust came on him, his mood changed and he just occupied his normalcy. So that was the changing in his mood. Next, how does frost present nature in this poem? Quite clear. It's very extremely cold. Cold was to such a degree that the tree was covered with snow, dust of snow. Branches and tree all were covered. So it was autumn season. In that season, it happens. Next, the following questions help you to think of an answer. What are the birds that are usually named in poems? Just we have discussed cuckoo, nightingale. These are singing words. That the voice of those words is very melodious to hear. That is singing words. Next, do you think a crow is often mentioned in the poem? No. I just mentioned it also. No. I don't think it happens. Crow is not mentioned in the poem generally. What images come to you in mind when you think of a crow? Yes, bad omen means something is going to be bad. Good thing is not going to take place. Okay, next. Again, what is the hemlock tree? Just I have explained. Poisonous tree. Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree, and it is in the imagination, my dear students. Next, why doesn't the poet write about the more beautiful tree such as apple or an oak or a pine? Quite clear. Poet wanted to bring the situation very much horrible situation he wanted to present, and for that there is no need of bringing singing word and the tree like oak, pine. There is no need, and that is why he brought the poisonous tree. He wanted to show that the man was standing below the tree was not in good condition. He was in bad condition. He was in depression, and for that he did not create those tree or birds. Here he didn't bring nightingale, he didn't bring oak tree, because those are the symbol of good mood. Here he wanted to present the man's depression's mood of sadness. That's why it happened. Next you see. What do you, the crow and hemlock represent? Just both represent the bad condition. Hemlock stands for poison, and you know very well poison is not taken for good thing. Poison will kill you if you are taking it. And crow, as we know, when we see the crow at the time of coming out of the house, we saw a crow and crow was cawing. We will think that, oh, today it seems that my work will not be done smoothly. I will have to face some problems. We think or not? So this is not giving the good omen. It is giving bad omen. Next you see, why doesn't the poet write about, what does the crow and the hemlock represent? Joy or sorrow? Sorrow, obviously, sorrow. What does the dust of snow that the crow sick of the hemlock tree stands for? Dust of snow stands for the powdery substance of snow that was collected on the branches of the tree because of extremely cold. And when the crow shook the branches, that dust came on the poet, and that brought the change. Okay. Have there been times when you feel depressed or hopeless? See, question is telling that you are in depression or in hopelessness. Both conditions are not good for man. Have you experienced a similar moment that changed your mood that day? My dear students, this is not the question I can answer. That depends on you. You will think and you will write. You remember that situation and then write accordingly. You can imagine what happened or in the past that happened. So that answer will differ from student to student. In this way, this poem has been completed. And I will like you all to read the poem 2 or 3 times, learn the poem, because learning poem is very much essential. Though in the examination it will not be asked you to write, but do you know, whenever you will write in your article or when you will write essay, not only in this class, in higher classes, you can quote the lines of the poem. That will give good impression to the examiner. So it is very much essential to learn. Very small poem it is, and it is of 8 lines only. So I think you will be doing it. Okay, thank you and goodbye. In next class we will be meeting. Thank you very much.